Good morning. Welcome to the daily voiceover huddle. What's up? I'm Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent. Can you believe I've recorded over 10,000 paid jobs over the course of my career? It boggles my mind when I think about it for every company imaginable, every kind of project imaginable. And which is one of the reasons I coach and I love to coach and help people learn how to record voiceovers, but also more importantly, how to make money recording voiceovers, so to make it a career, to make it a job. And I'm glad you're here. That's what this channel's about. That's what this video is about. And thanks for checking in on the chat, by the way. At the end of the video, towards the end of the video, I'll do a little roll call and go through, see who's on. So make sure that you check in. Let me know where you're watching or listening from this morning. So, before I get into the content today, let me just quickly mention that my training program on how to make more money by creating more demos, DIY demos to expand, whether you're just getting started or you want to expand the repertoire of what you have and want to create some niche demos, this is a great program to have on hand because it will teach you how to do that. And the link is below in the description. So that's available over the next few days. So check that out. Okay. So it's about sounding credible. It's an interesting job that we have as voiceover talent. Have you ever had a script that you had no idea what it was you were talking about? Well, yeah, that's what we do. Our job is to sound like a subject matter expert regardless of what we're talking about. And we get stuff for, every topic imaginable. I would dare say that, the vast majority of things that I record, I really don't have a great I might have a surface knowledge. Some things I have known nothing of whatsoever. Some I know a little bit, some I know a little bit more. But the challenge in that is sounding credible, sounding authoritative when you have no idea of what you're talking about. And that's why they call it voice acting. They don't call it voice acting for nothing. That's for sure. But you have to sound credible and believable. You have to, get people to be compelled by your, your delivery, what your performance, what you have to say, and how do you get them to lean into that? Well, there are a few tips I'm gonna share with you today to help you when you're sitting behind the microphone and looking at a script saying, "I don't know. I don't understand the content," because you can't be an expert at everything. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually retained everything that we recorded? That would be nice, but even then, you just can't be an expert at everything. But if you want to book work, if you want to win auditions and you want to book work, you have to be believable and you have to sound credible. So, number 1, have you ever noticed that people who are supremely confident in what they're saying, their voice rarely goes up into their throat? Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes people who speak from their throat, it's because there's this tension that happens because they're not quite sure what's going on, and they sound more like they're trying to convince you than they are that they know what they're talking about. And so one of the things that you can do is you can consciously allow your voice to drop by relaxing the muscles in your face, in your neck, in your chest, and in your diaphragm, and allow your voice to go from up here, uncertainty, to drop down here into your lower diaphragm as if you sound like you know what you're talking about. Be a student of human psychology and human interaction, human communication. It's interesting because when people aren't quite sure, their voice begins to pitch up. It's a nervousness, it's a tension, subconsciously, a tension in their muscles. And I hear it in voiceover talent all the time because it's fear. It's fear that they're going to be found out. So just consciously force your force the muscles, allow the muscles to relax. Take a deep breath, allow them to relax, allow your voice to go into the diaphragm. That will immediately make you sound more like you know what you're talking about and less fearful. And let's see here. Next is take your time. We've talked about how many times have we talked about this? A lot because it's so important. Another thing, there's these triggers that happen when we get into performance mode. One is muscles contract, and a part of that is, and then it causes our adrenaline to speed up. And then when the adrenaline starts to flow, then we start to speed up when we read. So our voice pitches up and we start talking faster, but we don't even realize we're talking faster because we're trying to get to the end before, we really screw things up. So if in addition to relaxing, allowing your voice to drop down into the lower diaphragm, take force yourself to slow down as you talk. Just by being consciously aware of these things will go a long way. Slowing down people who feel very confident in themselves and what they're saying typically feel no sense of pressure or hurry. Now, doesn't mean you may not have to time something, a script that's, that's whether it's a commercial or otherwise, that's on a time frame, and you have to meet that time frame. I get that, but you never start off by reading it fast. Start off by reading it slow. Practice reading it slow because even when you start to go faster, you will sound more confident. Okay, the voice lower, the pace slower. Lower, slower so far. Number 3 is this. Have you also noticed that when people really feel confident in what they're talking about, they tend to inflect down a lot at the end of sentences? People who aren't quite so sure often inflect up. They're not quite, I'm not quite sure what I'm talking about, as opposed to I'm really sure what I'm talking about. I'm not saying to inflect down at the end of every sentence, but beware, notice, observe yourself, become a third party observer. How are you handling the script? Are you talking fast? Is your voice pitched up, and are you inflecting up at the end of every line? That's a surefire sign that you don't know what you're talking about. Inflect down. To that, inflecting down communicates authority. This is the way it is. Have you ever noticed that? Experts inflect down because they know and they're confident. It becomes a definitive statement. Not a statement that's up for debate, but this is the way it is. So, a big part of our job as voiceover talent is to communicate with authority, regardless of the genre of what we're doing, the format, even the length. It's always to be believable. We do that through emotion, and emotion is the primary thing. But once you get these physical things in line, it makes it so much easier to connect with a script. So, again, to sound more authoritative, allow relax the muscles through your face, neck, chest, and diaphragm, and allow the voice to go from here, which is tension, to down here in the lower diaphragm. Second, force yourself to slow down a bit, at least when you're practicing your script. I like to use my hand as a metronome sometimes. If I feel like I'm going too fast, I'll just move my hand slowly up and down as a physical reminder to slow down the tempo. Once I'm very familiar, confident with what I'm doing, then I can speed it up to get faster. And I'm still doing the other things that I need to do, which the third would be to inflect down frequently at the end of sentences. That will seal the deal. So if you can master those 3 things, practice those today. It will make you sound more like an expert, more authoritative, more confident, more like you know what you're doing. The result, book more work, get more jobs, make more money in voiceover. Who's on the live stream chat this morning? Rob is first in this morning. Rob, congrats to you. I think, was this 2 days in a row for you? You are on fire this week. I love it. Michelle, how are you doing in Philadelphia? We've got GS in Longview, Washington, Rusty in the Upper Peninsula, John in San Diego, Anthony, hello to you in Phoenix, Amanda, good morning in Pennsylvania, Corey in Wisconsin, Greg in North Carolina. We've got Andrew in Calgary. By the way, I was watching a cool document. No, it wasn't a documentary. It was a YouTube video on a couple who took it was a train from Toronto to it was a Vancouver, far west coast, and they did like prestige class, the first class. It was pretty amazing. It got me thinking. I've never been to Canada. I thought I'd do that. That's pretty cool. We've got Greg in North Carolina. We've got Emma in Huntington Beach. Remy, how are you? Jay Douglas in Phoenix. Sirius in Charlotte. Hey, Marla, how are you in Central Texas? See, I got it. I didn't say Maria today. I said Marla. John in Rhinebeck, New York. Remy's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, by the way. Mike is in Spanish Fort, Alabama. We've got Peter D. Jones in the UK. What's going on, Peter? Maggie, hello to you in Pittsburgh. Ralph, what's up? And Caitlin from the land of Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank here. Denise, hello to you from Long Island. Rebecca, good morning to you in Michigan. Amy in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Tim and Sunny, also from Altoona, Pennsylvania. The contingency from Altoona, Pennsylvania. You're all out this morning. I love it. Kristen in Los Angeles. Adela in Milpitas, California. Good to have you here. Adela, Mark, hello to you, and Wendy, Estes Park, Colorado. We've got Miss Johnny in Houston, Aaron in Como, Bill in Idaho, Megan, good morning to you from snowy Manitoba. I swear voice work is more mental than physical most of the time. Oh, there is no doubt. It absolutely is. It is at least 50%, if not 95% mental. It is so mental. And once you get the head game right, it's amazing how everything else falls into place. Hey, Jolie, she says, "Hi, Bill, going to work intently today. Have a terrific day and weekend. Vicky, your family, and Fred, too." Thank you, Jolie. I appreciate that. Hey, Merrill, good morning in northern New Jersey. I'm happy I can make it this morning. Your VO tips are priceless. Now my day is complete. Well, thank you, Merrill. I appreciate that. Hey, Mike, what's up in Mattawan, New Jersey? Stacy in San Diego, Jess in Austin, Texas. I feel a sense of accomplishment when I can record something and sound excited about it when I knew absolutely nothing about it 15 minutes prior. Yes, that's quite a feat, and you should feel good about that. Jason says, "Good morning from Kearney, Nebraska." Great advice. Thank you as always. You're welcome, Jason. Thank you. Julio from Jacksonville, Florida. Terry in Fallston, Maryland. He says, "Your DIY demo course is fantastic. I've added different categories and booked gigs." Terry, that's fantastic. Thank you. Way to go. It's one thing to get training. I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I think it was Vicky I was talking to, but it's amazing how many people, will invest in something and then not follow through on it, which is a crime. I hate to see that happen. But Terry, when people do what you just said, you take that information that you've invested in and then you use it, you see that it works, and then you benefit from it. Then it's an investment, not an expense. Melissa in San Diego. Theo says, "Greetings to all from the Chicagoland burbs, where today it is misty and unseasonably mild, according to the credible sounds of the radio news announcer." Well, radio news announcers are paid to sound credible. Where do you think I learned all this stuff? Dennis, hello to you in Pasadena, California. Dale in Atlanta. How do you take your time when someone writes a long script read in 30 seconds? Well, you don't take your time. As I said, you've got to fit to time, but you don't start off speed reading. And there are circumstances that are not ideal. And especially those of us who come from radio know this full well that clients, people who buy advertising, have this mistaken sense that the more words they can squeeze into their time, be it 30 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever, they feel like they're getting more bang for their buck when actually just the opposite is true. The more you put in, the less focus it typically has. The more people have to mentally process, the less effective it becomes. You can't control that. You can only do the best you can do. But you start off by practicing reading through it slowly and you'll become confident. Then you can speed up and you'll still sound more confident than if you just were, you know, speed reading from the start. Mike in York, Pennsylvania. I'll start typing in all caps to help you see on the 13-inch screen. Oh, Mike, that was funny. And please, everybody, don't forget to like and share Bill's content. That is so, so funny. I've been thinking, and again, I can do that. I've been doing this for well, not quite a year. It's under a year, but every day, this is what I use for all my work and it's fine. But Apple has come out with a 15-inch version of the same MacBook Air. And I found out that these M123 processors are plenty of processing power for what I do. I used to use MacBook Pros, but I don't have to. They're cool, but I don't have to. And these don't have fans in them, which allow me to bring them in the studio, which is nice. We've got Savannah, Georgia checking in. I love Savannah. I was just there this past summer, I believe it was. Took a boat cruise down there from Hilton Head. Man, loved hanging out there. And it wasn't my first time, but yeah, I love it down there. Tina says hello from Southeast Georgia. John, take it light, make it right. That's good. Anastasia, not only building confidence, but character as well. Good. Tyler in Houston. Tina, good afternoon from Sweden. Tina, hello. Good to have you here today. It's always exciting as we build our global audience. We've got Peggy in Phoenix, Rachel in Nigeria. Hello, Rachel. Hello to you, Chris in Lakeville, Minnesota. And Wally says, thanks for dissecting VO to help us succeed at a better rate. Well, thank you, Wally. That's what I try to do. Jason, Newport, Oregon. Wade says, good morning from Philadelphia. Greetings and salutations from upstate New York. Mark, he says, my good friend is the manager of the Rocky Mountaineer luxury train out of Vancouver. Let me know if you decide to take a ride. I heard it is fabulous. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate the heads up on that. Wow, that would be so cool. My challenge is in convincing my wife to do it. That's my challenge. I've never traveled by train, and but that is something that would be very cool to do. We've got let's see. Oh, Holland is in the house today. Fantastic. Yes. Dr. Bob in Clearwater, celebrating your birthday today, Dr. Bob. Happy birthday to you. Good to have you on today, Bob. Hope you have a wonderful birthday. Billy the Kid says buenos dias from the High Springs, Florida. Armando says hello from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Johnny says good morning from San Francisco. Julio in Englewood, New Jersey. Yeah, good to have you here. Doug in Greensboro, North Carolina. And Florida represented here. Endo, thank you for being here. Guys, to sound credible, speak from the lower, relax your voice into your lower diaphragm. Slow down, learn to slow down. At least start slow. If you need to speed up to meet time, that's fine, but start slow. And then learn to inflect down more at the end of sentences to impart a feeling of authority, credibility, and expertise. Have a great day. And by the way, make sure you share in the comments what your experience is as you practice using these strategies. Make it a great day.